Welcome to Magenta Trade once again to our Watchlist program. Thanks a lot for joining in once again tonight at our broadcast. In this Watchlist program, we go through our selected list of stocks and we discuss the ups and downs in the market, how we are positioned with the different stocks that we are watching, and what is going to happen in the next probably 1 or 2 weeks. We try to understand with the help of charts and other things, and the objective is to make you aware of the what is happening around the our chosen list of stocks, and also to help you understand how you can build a stocks watch list for your portfolio. Okay, so let's get started. I'll switch off my video so that you can see the screen better. Hopefully you can see my screen now. And here's a list of stocks that we have here currently in our MT watch list. As you can see, we have uploaded the list of stocks in our Google Sheet. And if you have missed how we have created this watch list in the Google Sheet, please watch our earlier videos. By the way, please do subscribe our channel so that you can keep watching your favorite videos. You can also click on the bell icon to get the notifications whenever we upload a new post. Once again, thanks a lot for joining in. Today is 28th of April in the afternoon session of the market. Let's see what's happening in the market. And the biggest news of today's market is the Meta or the Facebook, and that's what is happening at this moment. So let's have a quick look in the Meta state. The stock is up by 18% after the results were announced yesterday for Facebook or Meta platforms. The company, have announced a major increase in the number of users when it was not really much expected, but the results were pretty good. And in terms of some of the other peers that they are experiencing, like say Twitter and of course Netflix announced some loss in subscriptions, and in that way the results of Meta platforms was very positive for the market. Also in terms of the general market, let's share that with you. Currently, the Nasdaq is up by 388 points, which is 3%, almost going to touch the $13,000 points mark again. SPX, S&P 500 is up by 2.7%, and Dow Jones is up by 681 points, which is more than 2 percentage points. As you can see, we had marked the major support level around this mark, 12,584. So currently the market has bounced from that level. Even if we go for SPX, again, there was a major support level at 4165 level. And from there, it touched that low and then bounced back again. The Dow, similarly, there was a major support level at 33,282. So it touched that level day before yesterday and then bounced back again on the back of these good results of some of the companies. Also, there is now a lot of positivity on the stocks like Apple and Amazon. Both of them are going to announce their results post market hours today. So we'll come to them. First, let's look at the other stocks, starting with Facebook. As I was discussing about the results of Facebook, um, the earnings per share, while it was expected to somewhere around $2.50, the company actually returned in the first quarter, March 2022, results $2.72 per share, with a revenue of $27.9 billion. The revenue grew 6.6% on a year-over-year basis, and sorry. The revenue grew the 6.6% on year-on-year basis, and the company said it expects the second quarter revenue of 28 billion, between 28 billion to 30 billion dollars. Okay, in terms of other details, the total cost, even though it increased by 31% over the on a year-on-year basis, but still, because the number of users grew and because there was a jump in the revenue, there is a lot of positivity in the stock from the investors. The income from operations actually dipped by more than 25% from 2021 levels, and the net income dropped by 21%, from $9.5 billion to $7.5 billion almost. In terms of earnings per share, it actually declined on year-on-year basis, from 2021, from $3.30 per share to $2.72 per share, which is a dip of about 18%. In terms of activities, family daily active people was 2.87 billion on average for March 2022, which is an increase of 6% year on year. Family monthly active people was 3.64 billion, which is an increase of again 6%. Facebook daily active users were 1.96 billion on average in March 2022, which is again an increase of 4% year over year. In terms of ad impressions, in the first quarter of 2022, ad impressions delivered across all the family of apps increased by 15% year over year, and the average price per ad decreased by 8% year over year on that basis. So that was a major, you can say, upside from Facebook in terms of number of increase in the hours. Headcount in terms of employees in Facebook was 77,805 as of 31st of March 2022, which has increased by 28% from 2021. So that's Meta Platforms, or you can say Facebook's news. Let's look at some of the other news we have today. McDonald's shares gained 3% after first quarter revenue top expectations. McDonald's reported first quarter 2022 revenue of $5.6 billion, which is a little bit more than the $5.6 billion as expected in the market. The company saw a same-store sales growth of 3.5%. So that's MACD. So currently the stock is up by 3.74%. And it is, you can say, it is in actually the positive trend as such. There was a little bit dip for one day when the stock price actually crossed the trend line. But after the results announcement, again, the stock price has risen up, and actually it has broken, it has crossed the all the 20 days moving average, 50 days moving average, and 5 days moving average. So that is a definitely positivity in the share. In terms of other shares, let's say Qualcomm. Qualcomm is up by almost 10% today, 9.79%. Recent earnings report showed all four of the company's semiconductor business grew during the most recent quarter. Qualcomm posted adjusted earnings per share of $3.21 on revenue of 11.16 billion. Quickly into the earnings, just more details. So in terms of the expectation was around $2.91 per share. So revenue grew more than 40%, 40.7% on a year-on-year basis. And company said it expects the third quarter non-GAAP earnings of $2.77 to $2.95 per share on revenue of $10.5 billion to $11.3 billion. So that's Qualcomm. In terms of other shares, let's say Ford. Again, Ford is just around flat. Earlier, it was down by almost 2% after the earnings report were not that great. After also, the company said its stake in Rivian dragged profits lower in the recent quarter. They reported earnings per share of 38 cents and a revenue of $32.1 billion. So more on that. In terms of demand, there is a strong demand for the products. Overall, the revenue fell 4.8% compared to the same quarter year-on-year basis. And in terms of earnings before interest and tax, the company is expecting between $11.5 billion to $12.5 billion for the year ending 31st of December 2022. The other company that announced the results was Caterpillar. So Caterpillar currently is down by 1.15% after the after the results were not that great as such. The company reported earnings per share of $2.88 on a revenue of $13.59 billion. In terms of revenue growth on a year-on-year basis, it was 14.3%. For the 3 months ended 31st of March, the operating cash flow was $0.3 billion, and the company ended first quarter with $6.5 billion of enterprise cash. Operating profit margin was 13.7% for the first quarter, compared with 15.3% in 2021. So that was a drop of almost 180 basis points there. The increase in revenue, the company said, was due to higher sales volume and favorable price realization, partially offset by unfavorable currency impact, primarily related to the euro, Australian dollar, and Japanese yen. The increase in sales volume was driven by higher end user demand for equipment and services and the impact from changes in dealer inventories. Okay. Now another company that jumped significantly today was PayPal. After the earnings were, earnings beat the expectations in terms of PayPal. In the first quarter 2022, the earnings per share was 88 cents per share on a revenue of $6.5 billion. In terms of revenue, the company grew by 7.5% on year-on-year basis. The company said in its earnings presentation that it is expecting a second quarter earnings of approximately 86 cents per share. Overall, in 2022, the company is now expecting between $3.81 per share to $3.93 per share in terms of the whole year profit per share or whole year earnings per share, whereas the previous guidance was between $4.60 to $4.75 for the same 2022. Okay. In terms of other news, other movement in the market was MasterCard. MasterCard shares were sorry, I missed that thing there. The MasterCard shares are up by more than 5% now to $380.69, based on the basically a positive outlook now created by the results of Visa, and similarly the revenue on Visa and PayPal. So with the positive results of both the PayPal and Visa, the MasterCard shares also increased in terms of the value. The other one share that I would like to mention that tremendous change today in terms of value was Teladoc. Teladoc. It's not currently in our watch list, but I have been trading that significantly last year. Let's see the earnings of Teladoc. They reported actually a significant drop in terms of their revenue. The company reported a loss of 47 cents per share on revenue of $565 million. The general expectation was around 55 cents per share, and the revenue is marginally less than $570 million as was expected. Even though the overall the revenue grew 24.6% year-on-year basis, but because in terms of earning, the company did not fare much, and also in terms of the forecast of 2022, the investors really smacked the company. The company said it expects the second quarter loss of 72 cents per share, between 72 cents to 60 cents per share, and the revenue is expected between $580 million to $600 million in the second quarter. In 2022, the company is expecting a loss of $43.50 to $43 per share on revenue of in total of $2.4 billion to $2.5 billion. In terms of other details, the net loss of $41.58 for the year is primarily driven by non-cash goodwill impairment charge of $6.6 billion or $41.11 per share. So that is a major charge to the profit and loss account. And in terms of adjusted earnings before interest, tax, and depreciation, it decreased by 4% to $54.5 million, in comparison to $56.6 million in the first quarter of 2021. So there is a major impairment charge. Other than that, the business grew to some extent, but the earnings are not increasing, or earnings are decreasing, and that's the main concern of the investors. So at this point, the share is down by 41.61% at the current value of $32. Excuse me. As you can see from the chart, the stock went up to a high of $147.58 sometime in the month of November, I guess. Yeah, when I was actually, or before that I was trading. Okay. In terms of other shares, this one, a ServiceNow. So that company also announced the results. The shares are up by 8%, 8.16%. The company got earnings per share of $1.73 per share, and total revenue is $1.7 billion for the quarter. Let me have a quick look at the results here. There, the subscription revenue of $1.6 billion in first quarter is representing a 26% year-on-year growth. The total revenue of $1.7 billion in first quarter is representing 27% year-on-year growth. And if you consider the adjustment for constant currency, it is 29%. Okay. Okay, let's have a quick look at some other stocks. Maybe one of them is, again, a technology stock, Pinterest. The stock is currently up by 12% from the bottom that it had earlier prior to the earnings, and the current price, share price, is 21.09. The image sharing company, Pinterest, they reported earnings of 10 cents per share with a revenue of $575 million. The other share that probably we can mention is Eli Lilly. Why? Okay, their share jumped by almost 5% today, currently, and they also reported their earnings, which was better than expected. Let me get the actual numbers there. So they reported an earnings per share of $2.62 per share on revenue of $7.8 billion. The expectation was somewhere around between 2.35 to $2.35 per share to $2.40 per share in terms of earnings per share, where the actual is 2.62 per share. Revenue grew by 14.8% on year-on-year basis. The company is now expecting their 2022 earnings of $8.15 to $8.30. Okay. Let's look at some of the other stocks in our watch list. So Netflix is for the first time, it is up by 7%, 6.5%. Yesterday, it went below $200. It went up to $188, I think. And today it is up by 6%. So after the earnings, first time the company's shares went up. Earlier, it went down by more than 40% from the recent highs. And then now it is, today it is up by 6.5% from yesterday's close. Apple is going to announce their results sometime after the market close, and that share is up by 4.6%. Analog devices, sorry, their shares are up by 6.6%. To around $161. Tesla is just flat currently. You can say almost 0.7% up from yesterday's close. So that's again a big rebound. Earlier it went up to the loss of $825, which was probably a loss of almost under a couple of points. Almost 1%, sorry. Berkshire is up by 0.72%. Again, Visa is up today by 3.8% after yesterday's jump. JP Morgan is up by 1.7%. MasterCard, as we discussed earlier, up by 5.5%. Bank of America up by 1.68%. Wells Fargo is up by 1.4%. Morgan Stanley is up by 1.8%. Blackstone is up by 1.7%. Charles Schwab is up by 1%. Amex is up by 3%. Citigroup is up by 0.5%. TFC is a little bit down today than yesterday's close. It's down by 0.5%. Qualcomm is now up by 10%. AMD, one of my favorite companies there, it's up by 6% ahead of their earnings on 3rd of May. IBM is up by 0.6%. They had a very positive number on earnings a few days back. Applied Materials is up by 6.6%. Micron Technology up by 6.24%. Fortinet is up by 3%. Workday is up by 4.5%. Arista Network up by 5%. Dell is up by 3.8%. And NVIDIA is up by 8.3%. Overall, Salesforce is up by 6.8%. DocuSign is up by 4.4%. Amazon is ahead of the earnings, up by 5%. Google is up by 4.2%. SAP is up by 3.5%. And Oracle is up by 2.3%. VMC is up by a 3.6%. DR Horton, DHI is up by 5%. Sorry, my screen got froze there. Twitter is up today a little bit, 1.5%. Advanced auto parts is down by 6%. So that broke through the trend line there. Best Buy is up by 1.1%. Walt Disney is up by 0.16%, which is more or less flat, you can say. Again, my computer went slow there. And Nike is up by 5.5%, 5.25%. Sorry. So that's more or less about the market update. And thanks a lot for joining once again. And we'll come back to you tomorrow again with some more updates on our watch list. And also we will share our watch list publicly with you, maybe before the show itself, so that I don't lose much time. We can do that over our social media platforms. So you can follow us in Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You can also keep on watching our videos in YouTube. Please do subscribe our channel if you like our videos, so that we can give you more meaningful and informative videos as always. Thanks a lot for joining. If you'd like to know more about us, and if you'd like to join our masterclass or options trading program, do visit our website, magentatrade.com. You can follow us in Twitter, Facebook, and Netflix, and keep watching. Thanks a lot, and have a great day ahead. Thank you.